Hey guys, Biggsy here, and welcome to episode number 8 of Rare and Collectible PlayStation 4 games. A lot of you guys have been asking me when is this coming out, so I know there's a lot of people excited for this one. It's certainly getting a little bit harder for me to get games for this series. There's lots of games out there that I want, but they're already pretty hard to find. Rare or Collectible becoming pretty expensive. So I probably don't have enough content for another video, at least for a while. So this will be the last episode until I gather enough games to make another one. It could be a month, it could be 6 months. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But I do intend on completing this series. I've got a big list which I've compiled myself, as well as from the comments from you guys. So if you haven't seen a game in this series that you think is rare and collectible, leave it in the comments. I read every comment. If you've said it already, I've already added it to a list, so you may see it soon. So Rabby will be coming soon, Jack. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the games. We've got a nice stack here today of rare and collectible games. Starting with Azure Striker Gunvolt. This is the Striker pack. Now, I've only seen this in the wild a few times. My local store has one, but they've got the price at $68 and they're not budging. I did a trade with my buddy Chris to get this. It's still reasonably priced, guys. You can get it for around the $30, $40 mark. But being a Japanese style, anime style game, you will expect this one to become quite harder to find in the future. Now moving on to a game that's already really hard to find, and I need to give a shout out to Rexel. So Rexel reached out to me with a copy of Blue Reflection. I offered to give him some money or a trade. He refused that. He just wanted this game to go to my collection, so I really appreciate that, man. It's definitely deserves its spot in this series, guys. This is Blue Reflection. The sequel did just come out, Second Light. However, this is the first one. I haven't played it, but it's renowned as a very good JRPG. Everyone that talks about it says great things about it. The price has just skyrocketed recently. Especially in Australia, where it wasn't released, it's very hard to find. So I'm very grateful to have a UK copy. It did get an American release as well. So if you're collecting PS4 games, Blue Reflection's definitely the one to look out for. Yeah, in America, got a copy, and if you're in the PAL region, you want to be looking out for the UK copy. Now, in a previous episode, we spoke about Little Nightmares, the complete edition. Well, I also want to talk about the standard edition of Little Nightmares. Now, in particular, the Australian version is very hard to find. So if you're in Australia and you see this version without the sticker with the actual rating on the cover, definitely pick it up. But regardless, I think this game is going to become quite hard to find in the future. The collector's edition is already becoming very expensive, so if you see Little Nightmares or the complete edition for a reasonable price, guys, definitely pick it up. Here we have an interesting horror game. This one is Pineview Drive. I don't really know much about this one. It's a shock horror game. It is quite obscure though. I rarely ever see it online. Obviously it wasn't released in Australia, but I got it for a pretty good price. However, these are the type of games that become quite expensive in the future, guys. I'm thinking Painkiller for the PS3, and there's plenty more examples you can use. So I took a stab on this one. Yeah, so you guys can too if you want. It's pretty cheap right now, and that is Pineview Drive. I believe there is a triple pack with this and some other games as well. So if you know more about that triple pack, let us know in the comments. Now we've spoken at length about the Persona series already in these episodes. However, there was one I didn't show you guys, and I just picked that one up. And that is Persona 5 Strikers. Now this you can find in the shops pretty readily available right now. It isn't the cheapest game in Australia, for example. You're looking at $36 to $38. But being a Persona game, guys, these games hold their value, especially Atlas titles. The Persona PS1 and 2 games are very expensive today. Even the PS3 games are creeping up. So I would be picking this one up sooner rather than later. It's certainly not going to be a rare game, but it will be quite collectible, I believe, in the future. So that is Persona 5 Strikers. Here's one that can be found pretty easily today, and that is Root Letter. There are a couple of Root Letter games. This is the first one on PS4. I believe they're visual novel titles. This is the PAL version, the UK version. It can be quite hard to find in Australia, but you can certainly jump on eBay and get one for around the $25 mark. So I think this will be quite an obscure release in the future. Now here's one I've been after for a while actually, and that is the Rick and Morty Virtual Reality. It's the Rick and Morty VR game. In particular, the Australian version was very hard to find. I found plenty of copies with the American version and the Australian sticker over it, but this actual printed Australian one took me a long time to find. So for the Aussie collectors out there, definitely be on the lookout for this one. But regardless, I think this will be a collectible title regardless of the region. I never seen this game under like $48, guys. So it's certainly an expensive game, so if you can find it for a good price, definitely pick it up. I haven't played it. As you guys know, I do not have the VR headset as of yet. I've actually got a VR box. I've got everything bar the headset. But I am building my VR collection up. And this one is one that I believe will become quite collectible in the future, and that is Rick and Morty's Virtual Reality. Here is The Secret of Mana. This is the remake of the SNES title. I do want to dig in and play this one, as well as Trails of Mana, which I haven't picked up. But yeah, I didn't pick this up when it was first released, guys, and I regretted that because it took me a very long time to find. Yeah, so definitely be picking this one up sooner rather than later. Look at the artwork, it's fantastic. I checked eBay, the prices are like $50, which is pretty crazy. I do not see this in the wild anymore, guys. I remember seeing it when it first came out, but I do not see this at all anymore. So that is Secret of Mana. Here's one that actually surprised me, and that is Samurai Showdown. I got this one at JB Hi-Fi a while ago, and the only place I ever see it is at EB Games, and it's $48. Then I checked online, and it's quite expensive, and there are very little available. And with all that in mind, I think this will be quite hard to find in the future. I could be wrong, but this is just a speculation. So why not, guys? Samurai Showdown, what's your thoughts on this one? Will this be collectible in the future, or will it just be a shovel title? I don't see the price getting any cheaper, and there aren't many out there, so with that in mind, I think it will be quite collectible. I've shown you heaps of JRPGs, but I show you them for a reason, because they are games that usually become quite hard to find, expensive, collectible. Basically, they fit all the criteria for this series. So we've got another one, and that is Star Ocean, Integrity and Faithlessness. I did play this one. I played about 20 hours of it, and I really enjoyed it, guys. It's probably my favourite Star Ocean game. So if you're into, say, like Kingdom Hearts style JRPGs, I'd definitely recommend this one. But it is becoming harder to find. I don't see it in the wild anymore. That goes with the Steelbook as well. I used to see that a lot, and I don't see it anymore. I don't actually own it, so I'm going to have to pick that one up in the future. But if you see this one for under $20, I'll definitely be picking it up, guys. Another Square Enix title. Now here's one that I never thought 2 or 3 years ago that I'd be talking about as a rare and collectible game. But telling my friends about this and trying to grab them copies, I couldn't find any. And I couldn't see any in the wild unless I went to eBay. And I remember when this first came out, you could grab it everywhere. The game I'm talking about is Stardew Valley. The PS4 got the Collector's Edition. This comes with a map and a big manual, which they call the handbook. I love this game, guys. I put probably 500 hours into the PS4 version. I'm currently playing the Switch version. Well, I'm sort of having a break, but I am playing it on the Switch. But this is more expensive today than when it first came out, which is crazy. Came out as an indie game and it's blown up. But yeah, I think physical copies are only going to become harder and harder to find. With it being so cheap on the store, people just download it. So the physical is going for over $40. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was $29 when it was released. Yeah, so that is Stardew Valley, the collector's edition. Like I said, I never thought this would be a rare and collectible game, but trying to find this recently, I believe it will be. Especially for the Nintendo Switch, I haven't been able to find a copy under $50, which is insane because I bought it on the store for like $5. So here's one that was released on the PS2. Put it over the 3, put it over to the 4. Of course, I'm talking about a PlayStation exclusive, a classic, and that is Shadow of the Colossus. Now, I believe, just like the PS2 and 3 version, this will become quite collectible in the future. Especially with people liking to collect PlayStation exclusives, etc. Let alone it just being an amazing game. This is obviously the best version to be playing. It looks the best, it runs the best. That is Shadow of the Colossus. If you don't know about this game, you've never heard of it, I recommend pausing this video, opening a new tab, typing in Shadow of the Colossus, and just check it out. It mightn't be for you, but if it is, guys, this is an amazing experience and you have to play it. Yeah, so I believe this will be quite collectible in the future. I'd be grabbing it today while it's quite cheap rather than later. Now here's another one that you can pick up pretty cheap today. And that is Shin Megami Tensei 3, the HD Remaster. I haven't actually played these games. I'm aware that they're sort of like the Persona games, but a little bit more full on. But yeah, this is the first one in the series I've managed to pick up. It's an Atlas title. They're quite collectible PS2 games. That's pretty much all I can tell you, but being an Atlas title, a JRPG, you will expect these games to hold their value. I know it's a very popular series, lots of people talk about it. I'm probably going to dive in one day. If you're a fan, let me know and give me crap in the comments, and I haven't played it yet. But again, that's Shin Megami Tensei 3, the HD Remaster. I believe this will be quite collectible in the future. As of 2021, you can get it for under $40, guys. Pick it up today before you have to pay more than that again in the future for it. These games, JRPGs, don't become $5 games, so if you're waiting for them to drop in price, guys, you're waiting too long. The time is now to grab these, not later. And here's another one that's sort of like Stardew Valley. This just blew up. It's pretty amazing, small indie titles that I love when they become amazing games like this and people get onto them. And that is Shovel Knight. I really enjoyed this one, guys, and it's becoming harder and harder to find. I never see this in the wild. I used to see it all the time. Comes with a big, thick manual too. Not many games come with that anymore. So if you haven't played Shovel Knight, I definitely recommend it. I mean, you can get it pretty cheap on the store, but if you're watching this video, you're probably a collector, so you want a physical copy. I believe it's available on the Switch as well. This used to be in shops for like $20, now it's going on eBay for $40 to $50. And I only expect the price to continue climbing. And here's another one that you may have to correct me if my info isn't correct. I'm Slain Back from Hell. Now I believe this started its life cycle on the PS4 as a low print title by a European company. I forget the name of them, guys. But then it did receive a standalone release. But I believe it was quite a low print run and it didn't reach America because I rarely ever see this. I do not see it anymore in the wild. I haven't seen it for probably 18 months. That is Slain Back from Hell. I believe in the future this one will become quite collectible. Obviously I haven't played it, being a sealed copy, but I've heard good things about this one. I believe Metal Jesus talked about this in his Hidden Gem videos, one of his earlier ones. So if you played this one, let us know in the comments. That is Slain Back from Hell. Now here's another one that was very expensive, but it recently got a reprint. However, it still is well over $100, at least in Australia. And that is Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter. Now the version I'm talking about in particular is the UK PAL version, which is this one. You can get the American version under $50. Regardless, I think this will be a very collectible game in the future. One that you want to get today rather than 5 or 10 years time. Yeah, so the UK copy I believe was reprinted recently. If it wasn't, copies just showing up online everywhere. So you can get this today for about 75 Australian dollars, which is $100 cheaper than it used to be. So that is Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter. I haven't played this, it's sealed, I can't really tell you what the game's about. But just looking at the cover, I'm sure you can work out with your imagination kind of what it's like it's going to be. Now here's one I actually picked up today, but it was on my list and it has been for a long time. Waiting for a price drop and it finally happened. So if you're in Australia, you can get this for $19 as of the 28th of November, so it's a Black Friday special. This is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. There is another Sakuna game, and that will be in this series eventually. But I believe these games will be collectible in the future. I have heard good things about them. Most of these anime inspired games will become quite collectible in my opinion, guys. I might be wrong, you don't know, but certainly be taking these games over sport games or AAA games. So again, that's Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. Now here's a game that used to be the most expensive PS4 game. And I'm going back to 2016, 15, maybe even 2017. And that is Toro. Now if you were collecting PS4 in the early days, you will know the story about Toro. So I've actually got one of the original copies, the first print run of Toro. It's very hard to tell the difference. I will explain the difference after I talk more about the game. So anyway, Toro is a bull simulating game. I've played it. I haven't got all the trophies because it was just terrible. It's one of the worst games you'll ever play. You control the guy that waves the flag for the bulls when they run towards you and stuff. Like a bullfighting simulator. Anyway, it was only released in Spain, and originally there was only 1,000 copies for the game. Being so unique, this just becomes super popular and everyone wanted to own a physical copy. Prices hit 300 to 400 Australian dollars on eBay. It was insane. This was for a good 12 to 18 months the most expensive PS4 game. However, it was reprinted, and now the game goes for $50, $60, $70, $80. It's not that expensive anymore. However, if you're curious, you can tell the difference between the reprinted and the original version. I have sold my reprinted version, which I bought thinking I've got a bargain back in the day. But when I compared the two copies, the fonts on the reprinted version was a little bit thicker, and this looked like a different font, so you could tell the difference between the two. You can't really tell unless you actually have two copies, but there is a very slight difference between the two. However, with all that said and done, at the end of the day, I still think Toro will be a collectible game. One that I'd want to have in the collection. It's got a nice story to it. It's still a Spanish exclusive, whether it's been reprinted once or twice, it's going to be collectible in the future. That's Toro. Here's one that I wasn't even aware had a PS4 release, and that is Teslagrad. It's another Tedesco title. I had this on the PS3, and I don't know if because I already owned it, I just ignored it and neglected it. However, I wasn't aware this had a physical release until I seen it on eBay. It's very cheap, guys. I got this for less than $15. It's a fantastic game, and I highly recommend it. It's a hidden gem, definitely, and I believe when more people know about this great game being so cheap, it'll become quite collectible. So I'll be jumping on this one today. Why it is less than $15–20, and that's Teslagrad. Again, it's a Tedesco title. As you guys know, I love my Tedesco titles. They're a great publisher. Now here's one that's interesting. When I first found out about this one, I had to jump on it. So it is a Natsumu game. It was only released in America, and it is Wild Guns Reloaded. Now it is a bullet hell. I believe it was done after one of the SNES or the Sega games. Before my time. But yeah, it's really cool. Shoot at high noon. I first seen this one on Radical Reggie's channel a couple of years ago. Gameplay looked really cool. Not my style, guys, but something that I definitely wanted for the collection. It took me actually a very long time to find. I think I had to go through PlayAsia to get this one. But being the way it was released, being a Natsumu title, being the nostalgia for older collectors, at least older than me, I believe this one will be very collectible in the future. It already is. Very hard to find, pretty rare. So it definitely ticks all the boxes, and that is Wild Guns Reloaded. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This was episode number 8. I'll show you guys the games. Another nice stack here. Again, thank you to Rex for the help with Blue Reflection. If you guys haven't seen a game in this series, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to track it down in the future. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 2,000, guys. I will be doing a giveaway once we're at 2,000 subscribers, so be sure to be subscribed for that. Yeah, until the next episode, which, as I said, will be a little bit of time, saying that I don't have enough content for another episode as of yet. But I'm working on it, guys, so this series will not end until I've got all the games to show you. It's gonna happen. Let's go, baby. You guys have been awesome. I've been Figsy. I'll see you next time. Happy hunting.